Hello everyone, my name is Thomas Mateus of Involution Fitness. I would like to introduce to you this 8-week weight management course. What are the course aims? Now, one of the course aims has to do with the transfer of knowledge and skills. So initially we will transfer a bit of knowledge in terms of food items you can eat, in terms of protein, fat, carbohydrates, what are the cornerstones of a healthy diet. But then we're also interested in developing your skills in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle. So it's a bit of both. It's a bit of knowledge transfer and skill development. Skill development will happen through feedback loops, as in that you will interact with me and I will give you some guidance of what you can improve or what is already going very well. Through this process, the idea is that you're developing a certain degree of awareness of your food behaviors, your eating patterns. Now that is important because some individuals are very unaware of, first of all, how much food they eat and what kind of food they eat and the preconceptions they have about different types of food. Part of this course is also to assess eating habits. So what are your particular eating habits? You have probably heard about good habits and bad habits. We're going to look at both because essentially there are some good habits and there are some bad habits. Or let's say habits that are not really conducive to weight loss or to fat loss. And we're going to look at them and then we're going to assess them in terms of, well, whether these are really aligned with our goals or not. Now, once we've gone through these diagnostic processes, we're going to look at what we can change. Now, these are not going to be massive changes initially, because if we change things very quickly, chances are that you're not going to stick to these changes for the long term. So we're going to make gradual changes if that's required, and if you would like to do them as well, and if you can do them. Another consideration of this weight management course is that we want to supplement your nutrition with an exercise or a training regime. Now this is very important because movement is key to reducing body weight and to reducing body fat. We're not so much interested in the science or the theory of exercise, physical training, or the theory behind nutrition. We're interested in practical guidance in relation to nutrition and what can be done in terms of training. What that means, for example, from a training perspective, could be that we're improving the form of certain exercises you perform. In other words, you will be sending a video and I will be looking at this and making certain suggestions of what can be improved, or just simply letting you know that everything is really good already. Who is this course for then? This 8-week weight management course is ideal for individuals who are obese, who are overweight, and who are type 2 diabetics, and who want to change something about their situation. So make no mistake, this course is about change. Now, as part of this course, I want you to develop your nutrition knowledge and your weight management skills. So your nutrition knowledge is simply about, well, how much you eat and what you eat. And we're going to go into the details of what this actually means for you specifically. But then there are also weight management skills, right? Because not everybody, I would argue nobody, is living a very healthy, very well-balanced lifestyle 365 days of the year. There are natural fluctuations. If you look at the Christian calendar, we have Christmas, we have Easter, and then various other events. And during these times, people consume a bit more food. But there are certain skills we can learn and we can practice these skills that always allow us to go back to a healthy eating pattern. And that's the idea of what I would like you to develop as part of this course. What will you learn on this course? Now, one of the things you will learn is why certain foods are eaten. So why specifically are you eating certain foods? Right? Whether that's different types of foods you crave, whether that's different types of healthier options. Why are you eating them? What do these different types of foods do to your body? That's one of the things we're interested in. Another thing you will learn is what influences your eating behaviors. So what are the triggers that cause you to eat certain types of foods, whether it's a more healthy option or whether it's a more unhealthy option? And that is related to your social environment. It could be related to stress. It could be related to sleep. It could be related to hormones. You will also learn how to identify and set reasonable and appropriate goals for yourself. So we're not interested in a 4-week crash diet where you're losing 10, 15 pounds. We're interested in a slow, gradual process where you're setting up habits, where you're developing skills, where you're practicing these skills so you can do or practice weight loss over a longer period of time. Hopefully for a very long time as part of your life. Now, these goals are meant to help you make improvements, so they're not supposed to stress you out. So these are very, modest goals that we're going to set. Then you're going to learn something about the guidelines for a healthy diet. So what is a healthy diet? What are the cornerstones of a healthy diet? What do some people think we should be eating? And also, what can you get away with as part of a healthy diet? You will also learn what your body needs in terms of protein, fats, carbohydrates, fluids, fiber, and vitamins and minerals. This is very important because these macronutrients and other cornerstones of our diet provide us with the right nutrients, or with appropriate nutrients, so we can actually live a healthy life and also feel better based on what we're eating. You will also understand how to improve your current eating behavior. You will assess your eating behaviors, you will evaluate your eating behaviors, and based on that, you will be able to make improvements yourself. And I will challenge you initially to do this. And these improvements are not going to be massive. They're very small improvements, but if you practice them every day, then you will make progress. And that's what we would like. Many of you will have probably tried various types of diets, eating approaches, and what have you not. Now, I want to revisit this, and I want to look at how long it actually takes reasonably to lose body weight and to lose body fat. One of the things I'm sure you must have come across is the idea of energy balance, and we're going to revisit this because this is the cornerstone of every weight loss or every fat loss endeavor. We need to be in an energy deficit, meaning we have to eat a little bit less and move a little bit more. Now, talking about this is very easy, but applying this to your particular circumstances, to your particular context, might be a bit more challenging. And that's the idea of this course, because I would like to help you to implement the energy balance for you. Some of you have probably bought meal plans, eating plans by various providers, and maybe for some extent or for some period of time you were able to stick to these eating plans. However, we're not going to do that because this is not a lifelong solution. A lifelong solution is that you can develop your own eating plan on a daily basis, that you can think about the different types of meals you would like to have during the day, whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack, or whichever eating pattern you fancy, and that you can stick to this and that you can develop this also for an entire week. Then we're also going to look at ways of how you can adhere to your eating plan. Right? There is no point in me giving you a plan. You might not like half of the foods that are on the plan. And the foods on this plan, they might deviate so much from what you're used to eating that you don't want to do it. And so it needs to be your own healthy eating plan. Now, what a healthy eating plan means at this particular point when you're starting out is very different from how it could look like in 8 weeks. And we'll get to that as part of the course. You will also learn about calories, what calories are and how you can reduce calories from sugar and fat. You will also understand how well you balance starchy and fatty foods. So some people suggest that we shouldn't be eating too many starchy foods and too many fatty foods. Now, depending on what you like to eat, there's some truth to this, but essentially these food items or these food categories, they should be included in your diet. And so you'll be looking at how much you are eating of each and where you can possibly make some improvements. Now, everybody has a different lifestyle, right? And as I said before, there's no point in me giving you a meal plan which is possibly based around my lifestyle or based on what I've read, and then you find it difficult to apply this to your lifestyle. So the idea is that you learn how to adjust and adapt a healthy eating plan to suit your particular lifestyle. That is very important because this could subsequently mean that you can stick to it. We've talked a number of times so far about change, and as part of this course you will learn how to make small changes. We're using quizzes and information sheets in order to introduce some of these changes. So these are reflective exercises that you will be doing, and you will be making changes as part of these exercises. Another very important part of our life is that we eat out in restaurants. Now, how can we do this whilst pursuing our healthy eating plan? And we'll give you some guidance in relation to that. And you will learn how to plan and implement the plan for eating out. Some of us lead fairly hectic lifestyles. We have all sorts of commitments, whether it's family, kids, whether it's a job or maybe even several jobs, whether it's all sorts of activities we need to cram into our day. And there are ways of how you can adjust your healthy eating plan to suit that particular lifestyle. And you will be surprised how easy it is to implement this. Then another important thing to consider is alcohol. And we want to understand what the impact of alcohol is on our body. We also need to talk about exercise and the type of exercise you can do in order to facilitate the reduction of body weight and the improvement of body composition. And we will look at different types of exercises you can do and how you can build them into your day, and that these exercises will support you on your weight loss journey. Some of you may not move much, and we're going to look at how you can essentially improve your daily physical activity or maybe your daily exercises. There are ways of doing this, and it is not difficult because it doesn't always have to be a 2-hour gym session. It can be lots of small bouts of exercise or physical activity which will get you there. Another important aspect that has been floating around in the media is the relationship between food and body image. And we're going to look at that, and we're going to give you an exercise where you can identify what kind of body image you have in relation to yourself and how you see food in relation to that. Now that is important. Now, as you can imagine, we're exposed to all sorts of cues in our environment, whether it's a social environment, whether we're going to the supermarket, whether we browse online or watch something on television. And it is difficult to maintain a healthy diet or a healthy lifestyle or a healthy eating plan without a bit of self-control. And we're going to be introducing a few self-control techniques that you can apply in order to maintain a fairly healthy lifestyle. Eventually, you will also learn about motivation, how to continue with your success after these 8 weeks. I want you to graduate from this course, and I want you to be able to do what you learn on this course independently. You can always come back. You can always ask another question. You get a bit of accountability. But essentially, I want you to be able to develop some form of self-accountability without someone having to hold your hand all the way and making you do things you wouldn't do necessarily on your own. Why would you do this course? You would do this course if you would like to understand something about the building blocks of good nutrition in terms of protein, carbohydrates, and fats. After this course, you will be in a much better position to identify how much protein, carbohydrates, and fats you would like to eat as part of your diet. Now, there are different, let's say, ratios in terms of your macronutrients. Your macronutrients are protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And all of us have different requirements when it comes to this. And we'll be looking at what might be a good mix of these different macronutrients for you specifically. You will also complete a number of challenges. So one of the challenges could be that we're increasing your step count on a daily basis, or it could be that you're performing a particular exercise challenge on top of this with the weekly goal of achieving a particular number of repetitions. It could also mean that you're changing your diet, your existing diet, in a very small way, and that you're going to stick to this for 1 week. And then the idea is that you will hopefully carry this over to the next week whilst pursuing another challenge. The purpose of these challenges is to motivate you, to get you to do things you wouldn't normally do on your own, and to get you to be accountable for whatever the challenge is. So you're trying to do it, and even if you cannot do it, it's not a problem, but you will have started something, and you will have identified whether you like doing it, and you might even excel at this particular challenge. What will you achieve? One of the things I would like you to achieve is that you understand what a well-balanced diet is, what a well-balanced eating plan is, and that you can pursue this well-balanced eating plan for optimal health. Right? So we're looking at changing your outlook in terms of health. You will also be able to reduce your body weight and your body fat as part of this program, and hopefully you will be able to maintain this and continue with your success after this program because of the knowledge and the skills you have acquired as part of this program. Most importantly, you will identify what works for you in terms of your eating plan, when you have to eat or when you would like to eat, how much you have to eat, and you will also identify what does not work for you. This is good because it allows you to become ever more detailed in relation to your healthy eating plan, and you can avoid practices that are not in alignment with your goals. And of course, me making suggestions in relation to exercises you can do is a good thing maybe initially, but I would also like you to go through the process of identifying exercises you enjoy, and some of the ones you won't enjoy, and there's no point in doing them then, right? And that is also part of this 8-week weight management course. This is one of the main things of this course, because this is based on the actions you will take as part of the course. So the idea is that you develop skills or mechanisms that allow you to deal with a variety of situations you will be exposed to in your daily life. So these skills, maybe not as part of these 8 weeks, but maybe after these 8 weeks, if you practice them or if you continue practicing them, they will be internalized. And these are your go-to skills, your go-to habits, your go-to practices that will allow you to continue pursuing a healthy lifestyle, which you can always improve. How are we going to implement all of this, what I've talked about just now? One of the things is that we have a Facebook group. In this Facebook group, you can post comments, answers to the quizzes, discuss with your peers how you felt about a particular challenge, and whether you have actually beaten them or whether you got beaten at a particular challenge. That's okay. You can also email me and I will give you feedback on your progress, and we use that as an accountability mechanism. If you don't want to use email, you can also use WhatsApp, and as part of our conversations, we'll identify what's the best way forward here for you. All of these are used for daily accountability, whether it's email, whether it's WhatsApp, whether it's the Facebook group. Now, sometimes this is not really comfortable because you were unable to stick to what you said you were going to do, and then we're going to look at ways of how you can actually do it and where things didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out. And that then will lead to some form of improvement cycle. You will be given a number of action-oriented quizzes. So for example, there will be a quiz about habits, and you will look at your different eating habits, and based on these eating habits, you will be asked to make a number of changes. Now these changes you have to commit to, and you will commit to either via email or in the WhatsApp conversations we're having or in the Facebook group. And then you will talk to your peers and to myself about whether you were able to stick to these changes you said you were going to make. We will have to weigh you at the beginning of the challenge and every week. And we will take circumference measurements. Hence, you will take circumference measurements, and I will give you a guide of how to do that accurately. You can also take progress pictures if you want to do that. This is actually a good way to see your progress over 8 weeks, because weight is sometimes a bit ambiguous, right? Depending on what we eat, how much we eat on a particular day. And body fat is a fairly slow indicator, or body fat reduction is a very slow indicator in terms of our progress. But pictures are really a good way of assessing whether we're making any progress or not. Many of you will start this journey with a particular outcome goal in mind. An outcome goal is a very hard goal, such as I want to lose 5 kilograms as part of this program. Now, outcome goals are nice, but you are not 100% in charge of achieving these outcome goals. And that's the reason why we're going to focus on process goals. Now, process goals are the things you need to do on a daily basis in order to achieve your outcome goals. And that could simply be that you need to stick to a certain amount of calories per day, that you need to track your food, or that you need to stick to certain portion sizes or plate sizes. And if you do that, if you stick to your process goals, so the actions on a daily basis, your outcome goals are very likely to be achieved automatically. We're going to look at tracking calories, and this can be done by using apps, or if you want, you can do this by using a food diary. You will be using a food diary anyhow, because tracking is only one part of the equation, because I also would like you to look at how you felt when you were eating a particular meal and why you ate a particular meal. And that is sometimes difficult to include this into a food app. You will also be tracking protein intake, so how much of your diet is comprised of protein. The reason for tracking protein is that protein is a major cornerstone in our diet, because it helps to build and repair muscle, but it also keeps us fairly satiated. You will be eating normal foods. Now, what normal foods mean for you at the moment may not be the same as what normal foods mean for you at the end of this 8-week weight management program. You can include a number of, or you will essentially include a number of items which I would personally not class as normal foods or as junk foods, but that's part of the process. Now, the reason for this is that you will never, unless you're very strict with your diet, but you will probably never be able to abstain to 100% in 1 year from all the unhealthy food options. Another thing we're going to look at is portion sizes. So you've heard about calorie tracking. For some people, calorie tracking is not appropriate, and there are reasons for this, and that's okay. And so we're going to look at portion sizes. And we can use our hands to measure portion sizes, or our fingers to measure portion sizes. And I will take you through an approach of how to do this and how to lose weight using the portion size approach as well. A number of individuals have come up with different types of plates. So how should an optimal plate look like in terms of, okay, how much vegetables, how much protein, how many carbohydrates, and how much fat is supposed to be on a particular plate. And we're going to review different, what's referred to as ideal plates, and we're going to form an opinion of what actually works for you. So what is your ideal plate? What keeps you satiated? What keeps you going? Where's the biggest bang for the buck for you in terms of the food you could be eating? As part of this course, I've developed a number of information sheets and fact sheets. These cover a range of topics, be it from protein intake, be it about fats, be it about starchy foods, be it about carbohydrates, be it about body image. And you will be working through these information sheets and fact sheets, and you will take action based on these fact sheets and information sheets. We will also take a closer look at your personal needs, whether these are social needs, whether these are self-fulfillment needs, or different types of needs. So the idea is that we look at the needs in conjunction with your lifestyle, and then we're making appropriate changes in relation to eating habits, eating behaviors, and the foods you're going to eat. Another very important thing we need to look at is habits. And you've probably heard of the habit loop, where there's a particular cue in the environment or somewhere that triggers us to behave in a particular way because there's a reward at the end of the loop. And we're going to look at some of your habits, and then we think about or we reflect on how we can amend your habits. You will also understand something about hedonic hunger. This is different from the normal hunger, which comes from your stomach, but hedonic hunger has something to do with particular foods you crave because they're so highly palatable and you enjoy them so much. And we look at what that means for your diet. Then there are certain things that disrupt our behavior, and this behavior has an impact on the type of food we consume. And we're also going to look at that. Then many of us face logistical problems such as food preparation, food acquisition, food storage, and these sort of things. And we're going to look at some of these logistical problems, and we're going to point out solutions that can be pursued to address some of these problems. Another thing we will do is we will look at the glycemic index and the types of food that have a high or a low glycemic index, and what is good for you to be consuming, and what would be a good idea for you to eat in relation to this glycemic index in terms of satiation levels and general health and calories. As I mentioned before, there are physical activity and exercise guidelines, and we will examine these guidelines and what they could mean for you in relation to your particular lifestyle. I will be giving you a customized training program as part of this course. Now this could be a body weight program, this could be a gym-based program, or it could be a program based on unconventional training methods such as kettlebells. It could also be something around the equipment you have at home or the equipment you have in your gym. So we will customize this. Now, if you don't like what I have to offer, which could well be, then there's always the option that you can pursue your own physical activities. Right? You might have a trampoline at home, or you might have particular types of activities you fancy more than whatever it is that I'm suggesting, and that's fine. Because the idea is that we want to move more. Now we have to understand that in order to reduce body fat and to reduce body weight, it is probably a good idea to pursue some form of weight-bearing exercises, because these exercises help us to maintain as much muscle mass as we possibly can in a calorie deficit. We're also going to be looking at barriers to exercises. So some of us find it very difficult to pursue regular exercises. And we're going to look at what these barriers are from different dimensions, and then we're going to point out solutions to overcome these barriers. That is also a very important aspect of the course, because movement is key. It is key for optimal health. Now, I've given you an overview of the course aims, what you will achieve, what you will learn, and how we're going to implement some of these things I talked about. If you have any questions left, please feel free to contact me using the details that you see here on the slide. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.